Welcome to Forex Daybreak, a daily podcast where we cover 8 Forex pairs and give you our view on the market direction for these pairs. If you are trading Forex market, this is the #1 show to start your trading day. Now, let's begin today's episode.
Good morning everybody and welcome to Forex Daybreak episode 22. In this daily Forex update, I will give you my view on 8 Forex pairs I analyze using Elliott wave principle. My name is Ville Vainio and today is 7th of September 2015. This podcast is recorded also as video and it is available from the members area at ForexDayBreak.com. Show notes for this episode can be found at ForexDayBreak.com/22. Now let's get started and let's go straight on to the markets. And first up is Euro USD. Okay, the non-farm payroll figures that was released on Friday were a slight miss, actually not so slight miss, 178,000 was it, or 175,000 was the real number, and expectation was I think eventually 215,000. So there was a slight miss like the media has told us, and now everybody is talking about, of course, the rate hike, if there is going to be a rate hike in this month or next month or in December or this year even. It is actually quite curious to see that this is the only economic data that everybody is focusing on, because there has been a lot of bad data from US and the economic situation is not improving, and the only figure everybody is focused at is the non-farm payroll and the job situation in general. So, and also, if the Federal Reserve would be raising interest rates, I would think that they would know by this point that if they are not going to do it, or if they are not going to do it, I wouldn't imagine that it is just like a spur of the moment decision that okay, let's do it, let's raise it. When they have their meeting, I would imagine that they have already decided to neither raise it or not raise it, but of course they want to keep the market participants in the dark as long as they can, so maybe they get some benefit out of this, maybe stronger dollar or weaker stock market or both, or I don't know what is their aim. But in my opinion, this is just a big game and has no real effect on the markets. I think the equity markets are or have seen their very long-term peak, and they are going to go down no matter what the Federal Reserve does. If they raise interest rates, probably the decline will be more rapid. If they won't, maybe there's a slight push upwards, but we are in a very, very long-term high on most of the markets. And also I don't think the Fed rate decision will affect a lot on the dollar. This rate hike has been on the table and has been talked so long that I think the pricing has already been included on the currency markets as well. Okay, enough about that rate hike. Let's see what really went on Friday. So the reaction on the markets was quite mild. Actually, I would say it was almost flat, at least on the Euro USD charts. There was a slight spike up and down, but still altogether this move was 100 pips, so nothing major happened. Maybe everybody is now thinking that what this means, how should we play this, is there going to be a rate hike or no, and perhaps this confusion is now witnessing on the markets and nobody knows what to do. Well, the wave structure tells us what is going to happen next. I would say that we are going to see one more push downwards on Euro USD before a larger upwards correction can take place. We are on the last stages of a nice 5-wave decline from the highs, which were at 117.1 approximately. So a nice 5-wave structure is almost complete. I would say this is now a 4th wave of the last 5th wave down. So perhaps this 110.15 that I was talking about last week, perhaps this is quite an accurate target for your USD to find this short-term low. I wouldn't necessarily trade this at this point. I would wait to see what is going on, and if we get a slight push downwards, perhaps the correction to the upside can be traded. I would say 114 levels are the maximum high that the correction will go, but let's see how it plays out. So a slight decline and then a turnaround for the larger correction is expected on Euro USD. Key levels 112.13. This is the recent minute wave A peak. This is next resistance on the upside. Downside 110.9 is the immediate support area. The price now is 111.5. Okay, next let's take a look at dollar yen. Same here, non-farm payroll release was a non-mover here. Dollar yen has opened slightly higher, price now 119.27, and the Fibonacci expansion tool on my charts is telling that we are just on the 61.8% expansion level. I'm looking for decline here as well to complete this minute wave 2 correction. I'm expecting this to decline perhaps on the 100% Fibonacci expansion. So those of you who are watching the video can see it on the chart. 118.16 is the Fibonacci expansion, the 100% level, and the next one, the 161.8%, is all the way down to 116.6. I'm not expecting this to go that low. The 100% level at 118.16 is quite accurate a target for dollar yen. I wouldn't trade this at this point. I would look for this correction to end first and then would trade the upside. So perhaps this week we will see a turnaround here, or maybe later this week, but let's see how this develops. I'm looking for a decline, small decline next on dollar yen. Key levels on dollar yen are that resistance level next 120.4. This is the minute wave W low, dates back a couple of months, and on the downside that 100% Fibonacci expansion 118.16 level is the support. Okay, pound dollar is next, and here the strong decline has continued. It's still looking bearish, and this is still the first wave of the minute wave 3 on my wave count. The wave divisions is still very hard to figure out, so I haven't labeled the divisions. I have just labeled this latest low as minute wave 1, but we might still get lower figures on pound dollar. Price now is 151.87 and key levels on pound dollar are 152.73 is the upside resistance level, 1517 is the next support on the downside. And once we see a corrective move up, we can start labeling this more accurately and maybe look for a trading opportunity for the next wave down. This is now the first wave of the third wave, so after next correction we will get a third wave to the downside, which should be even more powerful than this decline. So there's going to be a good trading opportunity once we see the correction and the turnaround back down. Next is Euro Pound. Euro Pound has been more or less on the sideways range for a while. The decline last week was due to the Mario Draghi speech, and now we have had an upwards move after that. Still hard to say if this is the final wave up that I'm looking for, because we should get one more push to the upside to complete the 5-wave sequence and finish this large correction. Let's see how this develops. I'm still looking for a new high, a slight new high, maybe 10745 levels or maybe higher than that on this pair before we can conclude this large correction. Key levels on Euro Pound, 07257 is support on the downside, and then after that 07245. These are the same levels than last week. And upside resistance 07375, the price now 07342. Those are the levels to watch for. I would like to see a break through this range to the upside and a break on 074 level, and then a 5-wave structure to the upside to conclude this large correction. Okay, next is Euro Yen, which has made a nice 5-wave structure to the downside, and this gives the stronger signal that we are on our way to form a C wave, and this large correction, which has been in force for a very long time. Let's see, actually the peak, close to 150 peak, dates back to December 2014. So whole of this year we have seen a corrective phase, and the last part of this correction is now forming to the downside, and first 5 waves down. Perhaps this is not over yet, we will have to see, but at least we have some structure here. For a long time it was hard to say what is going on, but now it looks more that we are witnessing a start of the larger C wave down. Price now is 133 flat, and next resistance level on the upside is 134.3, and 132.225 on the downside is the support. This is the Friday's low and the recent midterm low. Trading on this pair, I wouldn't yet do anything. I would first look for this 5-wave sequence to complete, then I would look for a 3-wave structure to the upside, and I would enter a short when we have witnessed a decent larger degree waves 1 and 2 on this pair. Next we have Pound Yen. Similar situation here. British pound has been very weak for the past weeks, and it is evident in this pair as well. Price now 181.1 approximately, and looking bearish. The wave divisions were quite hard to figure out for a while. I have now labeled waves 1 and 2 on a minute degree as completed, and this decline should continue to the downside and is a minute wave 3, so it should be powerful wave. Maybe we have seen the first two waves of this minute wave 3, so this should then be the most powerful phase in the 5-wave sequence. Key levels on pound yen are that 183.2 is the upside resistance, this is minute wave 1 low, and 180 psychological level is next support on the downside. And there is a good trading opportunity here, on my opinion, because if this wave count is correct, we are on a middle of minute wave 3 to the downside, and this should be a very powerful phase. I'm going to put on sell order here. I will fix the stop loss later, and let's move on to Euro Canadian, which has moved higher. The non-farm payroll release Friday did not do anything mentionable in this pair. Perhaps we have seen the first 5-wave structure complete here. Maybe we will see a corrective phase. Hard to say at this point. The last decline from the latest mid short-term high 150 levels is not looking like a 5-wave structure, so perhaps we will see one more decline before a larger correction. Let's see how this develops. I wouldn't trade this at this point. I would first wait to get more clarity on this, but it is looking very much likely that we have seen a larger turnaround in this pair. Also, if you compare to other euro pairs, I am looking for euro weakness across the board. Almost every wave count I analyze is saying that euro is getting weaker, so it would fit nicely in this wave count as well, since we are on an intermediate wave degree reversal just now. So there's going to be a good trades on the future if this proves correct. Price now 147.9 approximately, and like I said, maybe one more push to the downside. Maybe this is complete 5-way structure. It's too early to say for now, but I will be of course looking at this closely. Key levels on Euro Canadian 150 on the upside is the next resistance, and 147 on the downside is the next support level. Those are the levels to watch for. If we get near 150 levels, then this is definitely a correction that has already started. If we decline below 147, I think there's going to be a one more wave down. Okay, finally US dollar Canadian, and nothing has happened here worth mentioning. The sideways range is more or less the same as last Friday, Thursday. There has been quite volatile moves, but the progress is flat. There has been no progress. Price now 132.6, and key levels are more or less the same. 132.12 is the support. This is the previous minute wave 3 high on my wave count. and 133.5 next resistance, and this is actually the latest high. Well, almost. The latest short-term high is the 133.26 level. So there's quite a lot of peaks to call for resistance levels in here. If we see a move higher, then there might be a signal for a continuation of the uptrend, so perhaps we have already finished the fourth wave correction. But in my opinion, the first decline from the minute wave 3 is not complete fourth wave. So those of you who are seeing this on the video, so this level right here, in my opinion, is not satisfactory fourth wave correction, but this is a possibility that this is already past the fourth wave correction, and we will see a move higher. If we get near 134 levels, this is definitely a possibility, but I'm still looking for lower figures to 128.6 level that I have mentioned previously on this podcast will be my target on the downside, and then the last five wave sequence to the upside can start. Okay, that's all for today's episode. Visit the show notes at ForexDayBreak.com/22 and leave your comments on that page. Remember that this podcast is recorded also as video, and it is available from the members area at ForexDayBreak.com. Two other features you find there are my Elliott Wave Ninja trading system and my mentoring program. All of these are included in the subscription plan at ForexDayBreak.com. I have a 5-day free trial for you to see what's inside. Now thanks for listening my show. Now go make some profits, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thanks for your interest in Forex Daybreak Daily Podcast. If you like this show, we hope you'll visit our website, www.ForexDayBreak.com, and tell your friends about us. Be sure to check the show notes on our website for this episode. Join us next time for another episode of Forex Daybreak.